Welcome to the pro wrestling, the wrestling conversation.
Whatever we're doing.
Whatever this program is. Whatever this program is. No, welcome. And we certainly thank you so much for being a part of Pro Wrestling Inside Out, the wrestling conversation. I am Brent West, along with Jack Lord and Rodney West. We're going to be looking at the top 100 wrestlers. And I think right now we're at number 68. Number 68 on my list, we'll just go ahead and start it from is the one-man gang, the Hands of Stone, Rugged, Ronnie Garvin. He had a lot of names, didn't he? Ronnie Garvin. Now, I'm going to tell you, we talked about this not long ago of whether or not Ronnie Garvin was on list. And I said, I don't think he was because it was tainted by Plan C or D or whatever it was that he did with Bob Roode. But when I go back and look and then go back and watch Ronnie Garvin and the reason he would be on, that man was so good at what he did inside the ring. He made everything look believable. You believed everything he did. And I'm going to be honest with you, never knew Ronnie Garvin, never even watched Ronnie Garvin until 1983, I believe it was. I don't know that I did know who Ronnie Garvin was, but I did not ever see him wrestle until 83, and I was very impressed with him at that time and how good he was. Rodney, what do you think about the Hands of Stone?
He got over everywhere he went. That's the key right there. And all you have to do is watch him wrestle and you can see why. Not the greatest when he was on the microphone, let's be honest. Of course, that's the reason they had Jimmy Garvin in the beginning. But when he got in the ring, he did all of his talking in the ring. And boy, that is some of the best chops I've ever seen. He and Greg Valentine really set it on fire at the Madison Square Garden. Just, yeah, tremendous.
The punch, they got that punch over tremendously. There is a video that's on YouTube, and Ron Garvin is punching, and now everybody's feeding him. Ted DiBiase. I don't know. I can't remember the rest of the people, but everybody's coming in. He's knocking them all out. As they're coming through the ring, he's knocking them all out. Jack, what do you think about Ron Garvin?
Ronnie Garvin, the reason that punch worked so well was because he knew how to do it the right way.
Yeah.
But I mean, the guy was always in tip-top shape, could have matches with anybody. And just, I mean, he came off as being a legit tough guy in the ring and out of the ring. So it's no wonder he was over.
They made such a mistake when they put the World Heavyweight Championship on him and then did him the way they did him. Because they took it off about as fast as they put it on him. And I think he would have been a great world champion. I never understood it. And then turned him soon afterwards. Because I think he was over better than Dusty was at that point. They had got that punch over. And who did that? Ole Anderson is the one that made sure that thing got over. Now, I'm not saying that Ronnie Garvin didn't have one of the goofiest things that Ron Garvin did was, remember on the TBS when Jake Roberts was the television champion, and they were making Ron Garvin put up money to be the heavyweight champion. Well, this is what this is what we heard. We wasn't there. This is what we heard about this. Now, listen. They were telling them that Ronnie Garvin, I don't have that kind of money to put up for that. I think it was like 10 grand or something like that. Well, this came back from the Southeastern days when they used to do this. Ronnie Garvin would either get beat or he'd do a time limit draw or something would happen. And Tommy Weathers, along with Ronnie Garvin, whoever the wrestler was, they would say, the bad guy would say, if you're not even getting 5 minutes with me unless you pay $300. And Ronnie Garvin would say what he did on television with Jake Roberts. I don't have that kind of money. And people would throw the money in the ring so they could get the 5 or 10 minutes or another match that night with them. And Tommy Weathers, the guy that he was wrestling with, and Ron Garvin would they would split that money, that $300, and they would get a little extra payoff in there. And they worked that thing pretty much all the spot shows in Southeastern.
Or the one Garvin would lose, and Tommy would get in his face. He said, I should knock you out right here. He said, you hit me and I'll fine you $500. Well, if I only had $500, I would do it. People would throw the money in, knock him out. They went in the bag, split the money.
Did that a lot back in the day, and but that was Ronnie Garvin. But they did the same thing on WTBS with Ole Anderson, and we had heard that thousands upon thousands of dollars came in to the office for that. So so that way Ronnie Garvin could have his television title reign with Jake Roberts. I wonder if Jake got his part of that. I think it was just Ole and Ron Garvin. Probably helped them keep the territory open for a long period.
That's right.
So now, Jack, number 68 on your list, top 100 wrestlers.
Number 68, we just mentioned Jake the Snake Roberts.
Jake the Snake Roberts, one of the greats. Jake the Snake. He was, you know what? Jake Roberts was not a fast wrestler. He wasn't one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, I wouldn't think. Not as far as technically, but when he had the psychology down to a science and knew exactly when to do what he needed to do. And that DDT was a tremendous hold that no one has been able to do as good as Jake Roberts. Rodney?
Yeah, Jake, an innovator, a true innovator. And a lot of the stuff that you saw, what he did on TBS and that was Jake. That was Jake, even in Mid-South. Again, just a tremendous wrestler, very credible when he got in the ring. And like you said, he didn't do a lot, but he had that psychology. And it goes to show you don't have to do a lot to get over, but what you do, the little that you do, you make it mean something. You make it count, and that's what he did.
I have long used him as a reference point for the saying we have in wrestling all the time is, less is more. And a lot of folks don't understand that. But if you look at Jake, not just look at what he's doing, but listen to that crowd response he gets by doing what he does, because he involves everybody in that arena. They believe what he's doing, and there's no high spots. There's no going over the top rope. What he did would still work today. That's how great Jake was.
Yeah, he had such that. And if anybody got to see him while he was Mid-South wrestling, the DDT was over like they even at the high schools would say, we're going to put the DDT on you for football games. That's how over.
Right.
And the DDT shirt, the red shirt, the white shirt with the red letters that said DDT. So more shirts than any shirt they had done. Bad Street USA eventually sold a lot of shirts as well. But incredible, just an incredible career that Jake Roberts had.
He knew exactly what to do with that DDT because he never used it unless it was what? The finish.
The finish. And when he did it, when the people knew it was coming, because they always knew the short clothesline was going to be followed up by the DDT. And then people could be set, and he could just give them a wrestling match, very, very calm wrestling match. And then something happened, and then he short clotheslined that guy, and then people were up. But they were ready to see the DDT. That's as over as that move was. All right, Rodney, number 68 on your list.
My number 68 is another innovator as far as I'm concerned. He really did a lot of the stuff off the top rope, made the splash, which everybody wants to duplicate. I'm talking about Jimmy Snuka is the next one for me. He was tremendous. No matter where he was at, he was a tremendous wrestler. Georgia, he didn't quite shine as much as he should have. I think they stuck him in a tag team, kind of hit him. But that talent was undeniable. The just tremendous shape that he was in. And if you go back to look at what he did in with Jim Crockett Promotions and then later with the WWE, this tremendous wrestler.
The thing about it in Georgia, I believe he needed to be a babyface in Georgia.
He sure did.
He needed to be heel in Georgia. Terry Gordy needed to be babyface. Be honest with you, I never understood that. We're going to be talking about the Freebirds on another video that's going to be on YouTube, and it's actually part 10. And we're going to talk a little bit about when they go to Southeastern Championship Wrestling soon as well. And again, Terry Gordy should have been a babyface. Michael Hayes should have been, because you just want to slap Michael Hayes for some reason. I don't know why. That's just even as the babyface you want to slap him, but.
Well, as we talking about Jimmy Snuka, let's remember, even at WWF, WWF, he made his biggest impact when he was babyface.
Yes. And drew a lot of money at the time. Everybody remembers when he got hit with the pineapple.
Coconut.
Yeah.
I was Roddy Piper.
Got hit with a coconut, I mean. And it rocked his brains a little bit. Is what Roddy Piper said. I don't know. He said he was never the same after that. I don't know. Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Jack, anything to talk about Jimmy Superfly?
Man, I mean, so innovative. He inspired a lot of the high spots we know today. But the difference is what Jimmy Snuka did. Those high spots meant something. They were a lead up and a build and an end to the match. We'll never forget that dive off the cage on the Don Morocco.
Yeah.
I mean, it inspired Mick Foley to go on to a stellar career. He was great. Man, you couldn't beat him in the ring. You couldn't understand him on an interview, but by golly, you couldn't beat him in the ring. He was fantastic.
And remember, they tried to put the Tonga Kid in there to be, and Tonga Kid never got over the way the Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Snuka just had it. Snuka had that ability to wrestle. The timing was tremendous. Jimmy Snuka, certainly a great professional wrestler. All right, guys, we ready to go see what the insiders have got to say? Who is on your list? Tell us. Leave a comment. Let us know. And if you don't like our list, tell us you don't like it. We're big boys. We can take it. I mean, somebody just last week called us a bunch of clowns and would like for Danny Hodge to hurt us. I think that's what he basically said.
By the way, for the clown gimmick, I have some bad news for the person who said that. I will not fit down your chimney, and even if I could, I ain't coming.
I couldn't believe it. He said he wanted somebody to hurt us. Won't be the first time. We have been told that many times in our lives in the wrestling business. All right, let's see what the insiders have got to say. Richard Hood said, "Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening to you as well." And by the way, as you see our very Merry Christmas background we have going on today. I think Frosty over there on one side of there, and Frosty the Snowman. Robert Grice. Hello, Robert Grice. Hello to you. Wendy Harkins is with us as well. Good evening, guys. Hope it's all well with you. Mickey Mayfield is also with us. Glenn Allen Shelton. He says, good evening. James William Lawrence III. Hello, gentlemen. It's been a while for me. I missed you guys. James, are you still? Because I think he was, last time we talked to him, he was starting his referee career.
Yeah.
So let us know how that's going. Kevin Penley says his number 68, Tony Atlas, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. He's been in the news. He's been in the news a lot lately. I don't. Oh man, there's some news. There's some news going on with that. But Tony Atlas is always good to us. Tony Atlas, tremendous wrestler. Jack, what do you think about Tony Atlas?
Tony was great back in the 70s. I think he was misused. I think he could have done more in WWF, WWE when he was there. But is what it is. Sometimes Tony could have been his own worst enemy.
Yes, I believe it. I believe he was. Rodney, Tony Atlas.
Oh, Tony Atlas was great, and no trouble. I'm sure this happened afterwards, but I never heard any bad things about Tony while he was working. Not in Georgia for sure, because if he was doing something bad or was getting heat, we would have heard about it because Dad would have told us.
Yes. Michael Barr said, good evening, and condolences out to Mike Woody and his family. Yes, we'd like to send that out to him as well. Christopher Hughes, good evening, everyone, from Leesburg, Florida, USA. I would say probably a little warmer in Leesburg at this point than it is where we're at this point.
42 degrees at my house.
Yeah, very cold. Got my coat on. It's so cold. It's cold inside the house. Hello, Brent, Jack, and Rodney. Happy Tuesday. Boy, I needed this show tonight. You guys make my week. Well, thank you so much, Brian. By the way, the wrestler great Christmas gift, and I think you could probably still order it now and get it for your for somebody for Christmas. Great book. Get over there and get that. Richard Hood said,
"Did you not say that there was an audio version of that book as well?"
There is an audio version of that. Yes, there is an audio version.
You get it the same place from Amazon?
I don't know that you might be able to get it on there.
They do have audio downloads there.
Brent, it was Plan B. Yes, that's right. I remember. I think they had Plan C, D, E, F, G as well. I think they had all those plans. Mickey Mayfield, number 68, is Mr. Wrestling Tim Woods. Oh, I agree with that. Tim Woods did not make my list. Now, I don't think he did. There's a possibility he did because I didn't think Ronnie Garvin made it either. So, but he did.
Well, I hope you look at your list. I bet you'll be surprised next week too.
Hey, I've not looked at this list. When we did that list the first year that we were doing it, I believe it was the first year, and so that was 2018, I believe. I believe when we first started it. And I have not looked at that list since, and I don't look at it. I don't want to know who's coming up next. I only want to know the week before, so I don't know what the list is because I'm getting notes. I don't remember it. I really don't. I can watch the same movie 10 times.
Ronnie Garvin was a surprise to you tonight.
It's true. Mr. Wrestling, Tim Woods was tremendous. There would have never been a Mr. Wrestling 2 if it wasn't for Mr. Wrestling Tim Woods. And we've talked about him in length about how great he was. So, Dr. Philbo Grice, hello from South Alabama. My number 68, Christopher Hughes says, Playboy Buddy Rose. 215 pounds, I think.
That's right.
He said he was.
Lean, mean, 215.
Yeah. He had that stuff, he did them commercials. He'd have commercials like, hey, all you got to do is put this stuff on your body, make that weight go right away. That was so good. He was, even as a bigger, when he gained weight, he still was tremendous in the wrestling ring. Still could take the bumps, could still do everything that he did. Buddy Rose, great. Buddy Rose didn't make my list, but tremendous wrestler, Buddy Rose. Jack, what do you think about Buddy Rose?
I love Buddy Rose. I think WWE, among other places, dropped the ball on him. AWA used him to his full potential. Pacific Northwest, they used him to his full potential. Everybody else kind of dropped the ball with him, and it was all over his weight, which to me would have made him an even bigger star. Yeah. The whole gimmick was great, and he could work to back up everything he said.
Yeah,
I thought Buddy was fantastic.
Yeah, Rodney Buddy Rose.
Yeah, some of the best matches, Buddy Rose and I forgot his name, Doug Summers and the Rockers. I mean, those were awesome matches. I mean, you could put those matches up against any other matches. Just a tremendous wrestler.
Kevin Penley said, I think Ronnie Garvin left Nick Goulas because he wouldn't do a mask gimmick.
That's very possible.
It's probably more like it. He got that payoff, and
You're probably right. Anybody will put the mask on if the price is right.
That's right. Number 68, Dick Murdoch. Yes, I will agree. Dick Murdoch, tremendous professional wrestler, probably one of the greatest. I believe he could have been a world heavyweight champion if he didn't want to do the Mole, Larry, and Curly. He always want to do that.
I've never heard in all the conversations we had with Dick Murdoch, I've never heard him say he should be world champion.
No,
I don't think that he viewed himself in that capacity. I believe he, especially in Georgia, he talked about making that connection to the fans. And I believe if they would have got out of the way and let Murdoch do what he wanted to do, I believe it would have happened, especially Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia, he would have got over in Georgia to let him do it because he spelled it out what he wanted to do one time on a trip, and we told that this would work. This he would draw a ton of money here in Georgia, but they never would allow him to do it for some reason. Georgia,
and that was experience. I mean, that is experience. That's where he's seen it happen. He's made it work somewhere else. He could have made it work in Georgia too. Some of that stuff may have been because of TBS.
Could have been.
Remember back then when Murdoch and before they actually bought it, remember TBS was very, very big on censorship. And they must let a lot of things done. No.
We're fine with all that stuff now. We won't get into all that, but we will.
There's a difference between paying for the show, which they do, and then somebody else putting the show on their network.
Jack, what do you think about the Captain Redneck or the Texas Outlaw, Dick Murdoch?
Dick Murdoch, man, was really one of my all-time favorites. I mean, he was so good. I can see, though, we've talked about it numerous times, why he wasn't world champion, because he wanted to do comedy stuff in there. But his kind of comedy worked, and it wasn't what his character was based on. It was not about the quality of the matches or the heat that he generated there, but he liked those little comedy spots to, get the crowd to laugh just a hair and then go right back to it. But man, he was so good.
Oh yeah, he was one of the best. David Bice said he says, good evening, guys. I went to 3 different indie shows.
Wow.
Rick Brooks is with us. Hello, everyone. Jason Mundy. Ronnie Garvin was great, legitimate, tough guy. Wendy Harkin said, my number 68, she has a tie. The Nightmares, Ken Wayne and Danny Davis. I believe we'll all believe that's we trust that is true, because they're tremendous. They were tremendous.
Yeah. Two of the best I ever was in the ring with.
Dr. Philbo Grice, watch some more Continental Championship Wrestling from the 80s today. Good stuff. Yes, if you've not seen it, look it up on YouTube, and you'll enjoy Continental Championship Wrestling. Some good stuff from 1985 until 1990, I guess. Well, the last couple of months, don't watch that. That was pretty bad. Well, up to that, it was pretty good. My mother got a picture took with Buff Bagwell. Was he was at Wrestle America, wasn't he? He showed up as the last minute thing.
I can't remember.
Maybe it was this time. It could have been another show, but I think I
which, by the way, Wrestle America, new champion, Fry Daddy.
Fry Daddy did win that.
Well, all right.
So yeah, I saw that. I saw Fry Daddy doing that, and I don't know. I didn't see when the return matches were going to be for Wrestle America. So maybe if he's on here, he can tell us the return for that event. My wrestling question is did Ken Lucas ever wrestle Ric Flair for the World Title? Yeah, I believe he did. I'm pretty sure he did in Southeastern. I'm pretty certain he did.
Seems like that was in Mobile.
Yeah. Steve Richards, 69 is the pride of Puerto Rico, Carlos Colon. Hey, by the way, I'm gonna visit. If you think of Carlos Colon, you think he'd come and see me? I'm gonna be in San Juan.
He'll be when you call up and say, "Hey, this is Brent West." He'll go, "Who?"
That's true. True. Number 68 is also Ivan Koloff. Number 68, Ivan Koloff. Carlos Colon, a legend in Puerto Rico. And number 68, Ivan Koloff. I will agree with that. Ivan was tremendous. Christopher Hughes, one of the most over moves, the Garvin Stomp. I love the Garvin Stomp. Didn't understand it when I first saw it. I was like, man, I watched it in Chattanooga, and I was thinking, man, what in the world is this? But the people, the more he did it, the more the people he got over. Did you understand it, Jack? When's the first time you saw the Garvin Stomp?
I'm sure it was when he was with Crockett. This first time I saw it.
This is tremendous. I saw him in
Chattanooga. It never got over with me until he did it against Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. When he got them down, that place erupted when he put the Garvin Stomp on both of them, because he got Arn, I think, or got Tully first. Then Arn came in, he got him too, and the people just exploded.
It's awesome. Tremendous. It's tremendous. You know, Dad always used to talk about the possum stomp that the
Scuffling
Hillbillies would do. And how he would methodically over. Yeah, it was so good. It was so great. And like I said, I didn't see that the first time I ever saw it was Chattanooga, Tennessee, 1983, I believe it was. In 1989, Ron Garvin versus Greg Valentine was my favorite WWF fuse. They best the fool out of one. You know, did he not go from there and become the referee? And then that's how he got interviewed with. And then he left soon after that, I think maybe he retired.
Yeah, because he stole, Garvin stole one of Valentine's. Seems like he stole one of his robes as well. And he was wearing one of those. Those were a heck of a match. Those were some great matches. Those chops were that was the chop fest.
It was a good way for Ronnie Garvin to retire from professional wrestling and having matches with Greg Valentine.
And their match was different than any other match on that card. Yep. And that, I believe that's the reason it stood out. We watched that whole show, and that's the match that stood out to us.
Richard Hood, his number 68, Ron Fuller. We will agree with that. Ron Fuller was a great professional wrestler and also knew psychology. He knew where he needed to put, and was very smart when it came to professional wrestling. Hello, everyone. I hope all is well. My number 68 is one-time NWA World Champion and 2 times Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Champion, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Steamboat is on my list. I do know this. I do remember this, and very much lower on my list. Ricky Steamboat was tremendous. I don't know that there was any wrestler that had that timing as Ricky Steamboat.
I still say he is probably the greatest babyface of all time.
Yeah. And then Ricky Morton has to come right behind there because tremendous. Victor Nash said
he left out United States heavyweight champion as well.
This is true.
World tag team champion.
And WCW tag team champions twice. Once with Dustin Rhodes, and I think the next time was with Shane Douglas, I believe. My number 68 is Iron Mike DiBiase. He may not be the only DiBiase on my list.
He may or may not.
Oh, he may or may not. Though it's still Rodney's gimmick there. That's gimmick infringement right there.
Here we go. Another match for a gimmick infringement.
That's right. I redid my work schedule to go watch pro wrestling. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We did too. Glad you're here.
Dylan Shelton, the Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin, Michael Barr. Why was Continental Wrestling Federation changed to Continental? Well, it actually was. Continental Championship Wrestling was changed to Continental Wrestling Federation. I don't know. You'd have to ask David Woods why he changed that name, because we wanted to change it back when we got back there. We thought, why did we do that?
That was quite the argument.
Yes,
actually, because never mind.
We'll talk about that later on. It's a long. Jake was
strategic.
Thank you so much. I
appreciate
that too. Helping with that. I did not get that. Kevin Finley, Jack, do you train guys for the business now?
Not at the moment, but I may next year.
Dylan Shelton. That's what JR always says, Jack. Stuart Kemp. Less is always more. Only the smart workers know this. Yeah, because most of these wrestlers today, I'm not for sure they're going to last a very long period of time in wrestling business. I really don't. Is your birthday today? Mr. Hughes. Mr. Hughes must have his birthday today. Michael Barr. Why was it changed to Continental Championship? Who changed it? Oh, you're talking about when it went from Southeastern Championship Wrestling to Continental Championship Wrestling? Well, they did that because they want to try to compete with WB and possibly Southeastern Championship Wrestling owed a lot of money. I'm not for sure why they changed. Who knows? I mean, who knows? No, I think it was so they could be bigger. It wasn't regional. They wanted to be. I don't know why they didn't.
And I kind of think it really represented more of the change in the TV location and the new show. I think that was more about it. It wasn't dismiss the Southeastern part. It was just a brand new show of Continental Championship Wrestling with a new host and everything.
Dylan Shelton. Yes, all he had to do is signal for the DDT. Yes, would always get over. Evidently, John Moxley has a birthday today. We hope he's doing well. I know he's in rehab at this point. Christopher Hughes. I love how Jake would hit that knee lift more than the DDT and did that very well too. They did that thing where he knee lift. I think it was Barry Windham through that little thing they had there for years. I guess it was
barricade.
Just like a little barricade. I mean, that was tremendous. And I mean, they made that the big deal. My favorite Jake the Snake match is him, the $1 Million Man, at WrestleMania 6. Rick Brooks, seen all 3 of you picks in person on many occasions. Yes, all great people. Brian said, wow, today's picks are a great group of guys. A killer, a traitor, and a junkie.
Well,
We try not to get into personal affairs, but
oh, man. Just shoot straight with us there, Brian. Man, Jimmy made them mean something. Okay, sorry,
I'm still asking for anybody that has any footage of the Garvins. I'm talking about Ronnie, Terry, and Jimmy when they were doing their thing. I have yet to find it, but if you ever find or run up on it, let us know because we like to see it. Because we have not, I don't think we've ever seen the Garvins. I mean, just barely, a little bit on television, but not in any time, not in any big way.
Jack, was there scouts for different territories that would ask wrestlers in the KVA to join their organization?
Indirectly, I don't think that we had actual just scouts that went out looking, but you'd get references from one promoter to another, one booker to another, where they'd say, hey, I got this guy. I don't really have a spot for him. Can y'all use him? There was a lot of talk between the territories. That's what made the territories work. And that's what got guys that were quality so much work.
And then if you messed up, you can pretty well know you ain't working anymore. You didn't do that. You didn't do what you're supposed to on the way out. You was not going to get a job for anyone else. Let's see. Christopher Hughes, I believe, is next. What was the real deal with that coconut? Was it gimmick? No, coconut was not gimmick. Roddy Piper said in an interview, that somebody was sent out to buy that. And I can't remember who it was, but it was not gimmick. When he hit him with it. Piper said one of the road agents was supposed to do it. Yeah, it was one of the road agents. And I don't remember what road agent it was that he said was supposed to go get that, but it was a last minute deal. He said, did you go get it? Oh, no, I got to go get it. All three of y'all are great wrestlers. Yes, they're tremendous wrestlers. Now, we don't know them. We're not even talking about the personal stuff. One of my underrated wrestlers was Rick Rude. He should have had a WWE title back in the 90s. You don't think he needed it. Mm-mm. His character was so strong. He just didn't need a title, really. Hi, everyone. Joel Bateman. Anita says hello from Dothan, Alabama. Before we went on the air, we were talking about Dothan, Alabama, and New Brockton, Alabama. We were talking about that just moments before we went on the air. Hey, we may come down and see you soon. We may be down there and see you soon. My number 68 is Rocky Johnson, the Soul Man. Rocky Johnson, tremendous wrestler. Could wrestle, man. He was so good at what he did. And by the way, if you've not watched the Young Rock, you're missing a great show. Now, Rodney don't watch nothing with Rock yet. That's what he told me. He says, no, I don't watch any of those Rock movies. Didn't you say that, Rodney?
I'm not sure what you're trying to get at, but the answer is no, I do not.
We'll talk about that.
Not the way you're trying to start something, but okay.
I was trying to start it, but it's like you didn't even want to go. I was thrown out.
Well, I'm afraid you with people wanting to have us hurt last week. These Rock fans may be coming in to throw rocks.
Let me cut that off at the pass. I watch everything The Rock does, and I'm even contemplating trying his tequila. So
I like The Rock. I think his movies are tremendous. I really do. Red Notice, if you ever watched it, Netflix. Get Netflix. It just gets you that free version, not free version, but I think they got that. You can try it out for a month.
I just watched his first performance, and after that, I've seen him.
Yeah, now that probably could be true, but still, they're all great movies for the rest of the people. It's warmer here in Miami. Victor Nash. Well, thank you so much for rubbing that in. Appreciate that. It's only like going to be 28 degrees here in the morning. So 24 in Ohio, Joe Bateman says. 24 degrees. Christopher Hughes said 80 degrees today here at 64 in the morning. Michael Barr said Mr. Wrestling, number 68. We just seen Santa Jack, Charles Bellflower. I want a copy of Gary Hart's book.
Hey, there's a handling charge of about $2,000, but I can get it to you. Actually, I just looked it up. There is one on eBay for $1,000.
Wow.
Charles was kind of mean to us last week as well. He said he would turn us off. And I understand after watching WD programming why you'd want to turn your television off. Randy Rose is on my list as well. Randy Rose, tremendous wrestler as well. Yep. Did Fry Daddy have the 5-minute match? I wonder if he had the 5-minute match.
He did not have to do the 5-minute match because he won. Wasn't that the stipulation?
I believe it might have been. I remember y'all talking about it.
No, he had told him that he could beat him in 5 minutes. That's all he said. And then Mr. Alexander Koloff said that he could beat him in 5 minutes. So they were supposed to have a 5-minute match with the loser of the 5 minutes carrying the other guy's bags. But as you're saying, he won the tournament, so I don't get the match.
Is Burt Prince's wrestling promotion still running? I believe somebody picked it up, didn't they?
I believe his nephew was supposed to, but now I've heard that they don't have anything currently planned. Now, don't hold me to that, but that's what somebody told me.
Whatever happened to Roberto Soto? He was in Mobile, Alabama last.
The last time I heard from him, he had moved back to Puerto Rico.
Okay. David Bice. Bub Bagwell was at Meigs County School Friday night. That's for Kazana, right? That's right. That's where he was at. I'm getting all my promoters messed up. News alert. We should have some music for this. MLW is set to debut Lucha Underground Spiritual Feminine in Mexico.
What?
That's like the same way. I was like, what are you talking about? All right, we're going to have to explain this. We're going to have to look at this because I'm not for sure what you're talking about. I know what Lucha Underground is, but I didn't know MLW is set to debut.
Yeah, I thought MLW was supposed to be on Vice, and they had one special, but I have not seen anything else from them, and I have not followed their YouTube show like I need to, because that Alexander Hammerstone is fantastic. He's their heavyweight champion
now. Christopher Hughes, my wrestling question is, do you guys think Michael Hayes really held Terry Gordy? I don't know. I don't think he held Terry Gordy back.
No. We have never said that on this program.
No. In the angle, Terry Gordy says he held him back, and we'll look at that and talk about that. What he says in the interview in the dressing room to Michael Hayes, and he basically says that in an interview. But we'll talk about that on our Freebirds. If you have not watched the Freebirds YouTube channel, Freebirds playlist, you can watch everything, and it tells all about some of their matches. We don't go through every match they ever had. I mean, that'd take us forever. But just basic who they were wrestling, time periods of where they were wrestling. It's very interesting, very informational about the fabulous Freebirds. Greg Valentine is in my top 20. I would agree with that. Greg Valentine, great. We're not a lot of people. NW Hard Times 2. Not a lot of people. Are we talking about fan-wise? Wasn't a lot of people?
Sure. I haven't even looked at pictures yet. They got some great talent there, though.
Yeah, Murdoch is I think that Trevor Murdoch is the NWA World Champion now, right?
Yep.
Steamboat is in my top 10 best wrestlers of all time, Christopher Hughes. And a lot of people agree with that. Yeah. Joe Bateman, I think he's hitting his top 10. Ric Flair, Nick Bockwinkel, Kurt Hennig, all above, higher than Hollywood Hogan. Let's see. Rick Brooks said Jack was out rock and rolling on Friday night.
I was. I got to bed at 4 a.m. Saturday morning.
Wow.
By 11:30, I'd been sleeping wherever I was at. So it wouldn't have mattered. I've been asleep. Back to Facebook. Too many weird bots in YouTube chat trying to get us to go watch a stripper. Really?
I'm sorry, Brian. I blocked them from off of here, but I did not get them on the YouTube, and I messed it up.
We'll try to get rid of them. We'll make sure they get blocked off of there. Michael said Johnny Valentine was in Florida by the same time as Dusty and Dick Murdoch, and Kevin S. He was scared. What did he say?
Is that not Kevin Sullivan?
Kevin Sullivan. He was scary to me as a kid. Well, he was scary to Wes now. I'll give him number 69. Michael Barr. Sometimes you feel like a coconut. Sometimes you don't. The Rock for president. Christopher Hughes. He is actually running for president, I believe, in this Rock.
Well, the premise of the young Rock is that he's looking back over his life as he begins his presidential run. Yeah. And he, he hasn't said one way or the other. He said he definitely hadn't rolled it out. But.
Yes, great movie, though. Great show. I love the Rock. I love the young Rock. I think it's tremendous. Snowing here in Buffalo. Ron Young said it's snowing in Buffalo.
Last time I was in Buffalo, it was snowing. Some things never change.
If you do come to Dublin, if you will, Brent, please invite me. We can lay all bad feelings aside, including Rodney and his bad. We will. We'll let everybody know if we do away that way. We'll let everybody know that we're good. Good evening, everyone, from Michael Rollerson. Michael, Nita McNeil. He's a winner. I'm not for sure he's talking.
She's probably talking about Friday because she's the big front row lady that travels. Was it 4 hours?
Anita, who did it come down to? Friday and who? Because I missed that in the pictures. There was a ton of pictures posted, but for some reason I must have missed who it came down to in the final match.
Randy Rose was always big in charities. Also, very nice guy. Christian. Also, Ryan North Alder got his butt beat. That's what she said. Not for sure I know who that is.
Randy, one of the guys on the show.
But. Randy Ward, do you guys think Tommy Wildfire Rich should be in the Hall of Fame? I think so. Yes, I do. I think Tommy Rich was a tremendous wrestler. He meant a lot to Georgia Championship Wrestling and was probably one of the first major stars in that on cable television.
There's a lot going on right now with the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame. It's kind of in limbo, but Tommy as well as Tony Atlas were supposed to both be inducted this year into the Hall of Fame. So I'm trying to get some more information. We may do an update about all that, but not until I find out, everything that's going on out there.
Christopher Hughes said, "Nah, I know you guys never said that, but I'm a big Freebird fan and even bigger Terry Gordy. I just like to, yeah. I don't think he did. Because you got to think about it. Terry Gordy. Everybody knew was a workhorse. Everybody knew that. All the promoters knew it.
And you have to understand, though, Terry did something that Michael didn't, and that was he was a big, huge star in Japan. And he would make those tours, every 6 weeks he would be over there. And so that really sets him apart from Michael Hayes.
All right, we're gonna just get questions now, and then we've got to go. We've got a couple of YouTube videos we've got to get done this evening. Question: were there any workers your dad hated refereeing? Not hated them, just the actual act of working their man. I don't think so. I don't think there's anybody that he didn't.
No, he was. He could adapt to anyone's style. Now, did he say that their matches were awful? Yes, and he would tell them in the ring. He would come in and say, "Would you see that? Would you pay to see that?" And fill in your blank.
Charles, yes.
Nobody else will either.
Since you'll be off for several weeks for $2.99, yeah, we're going to prorate it. We're going to go up for Christmas gifts for all of us. It'll be going. Terry Gordy and Steve Williams was a great tag team. Tommy should be in there as well. If you like
Joel,
to support,
Joel, you left one out. You just left the Patriot and Glacier is on his list. Joel Bateman.
Okay. Thank you so much for supporting Pro Wrestling Inside. Now, if you like to support us, it's $2.99 a month. Just go to the and we're going to do a little different. Everybody that supports the channel now is going to. We actually have a Facebook channel that is a hidden channel that no one can get unless you are a supporter of our channel. And so coming up, just moments from now, we're going to go over and do some YouTube. We're going to talk about news and rumors of professional wrestling, give our comments on some stuff that maybe we can give, and somebody may like it, somebody may not. Somebody may want Danny Hodge to stretch us again. And also we're going to talk about the Freebirds Part 10. Rodney, anything you want to tell the fans, the insiders, before we leave?
Oh, yes. I was very disappointed with Raw this past week. I was seeing Bianca Belair and Doudrop. I was very much hoping that Bianca would back body drop her over the wall there into the front row so that I could see what it's like when Doudou hits the fan. But I missed that. I was very disappointed about that. I was hoping.
Jack, is there anything?
Can y'all imagine the car rides we have?
Again, thank you so much. We'll see everybody next week. We're talking about we'll do I tell you what, next week we'll do we did 68. So let's do 65, 66, and 67 next week. Let's hit 3 of them next week in our top 100 wrestlers. Jack, anything you like to say before we leave?
Now, y'all guys, appreciate y'all being here.
And we'll
ProWrestlingTees.com.
Pro Wrestling
Christmas gift.
And you know, since we haven't sold a lot, there's some just sitting there waiting for you to buy. So get over there and get your t-shirts there. Thank y'all so much. We certainly do appreciate it. You know, we try to have fun on here, and that's our and talk pro wrestling. Thank you so much, and we'll see everyone next week right here on Pro Wrestling Inside Now.